Well, we begin tonight with happening now breaking news. Admiral Dr. Rachel Levine gets emotional, well, kind of emotional, in discussion of her role in LGBTQ history during a White House interview with Queer News Tonight. This is our final part 4. This evening, Queer News Tonight brings you Admiral Dr. Rachel Levine. She is America's first 4-star trans admiral and the first trans Senate confirmed cabinet member. Tonight, Levine talks about the LGBTQ community. This is the final part of my extensive interview of this fragile moment for her, the trans community, and our entire LGBTQ community. She talks about the history of these moments right now. I discuss with her about the lens of history needed in becoming an icon in our community, including Rustin Bayard for civil rights, Sylvia Rivera for Stonewall, and Harvey Milk, for example, for politics. Then I ask her how she feels history will judge her as an addition to that icon status. You get to watch her and her emotional response. Watch this.
Well, I think that our community is always stronger when we stand together against the challenges that we face. And so, again, being a positive and optimistic person, I think that the trans community certainly welcomes the support of everyone in our rainbow family, so to speak. And I think that we can and will stand together.
Yeah. I also want to ask you about the broad community support for our community. There's been so much said and discussed in the last number of weeks about the Dave Chappelle special at Netflix and trans-related issues and LGBTQ-related issues. Any thoughts about what you watched in America's discussion in the community and out of the community on Dave Chappelle?
I'm not really going to comment on that, but I think it's very important to understand the progress that our LGBTQI plus community has made, but that we have to make progress for everyone, including the most vulnerable in our community. I had mentioned that LGBTQI plus youth, particularly trans youth, are vulnerable. Seniors in our community are vulnerable. Immigrants in our community are vulnerable. And really, in many ways, the most vulnerable are LGBTQI plus individuals of color. And, you know, trans women of color, for example, are at risk not just of harassment or discrimination, but they are at risk of violence and murder. So we have to stand together. We have to work together to consolidate and then continue the progress that we have made for everyone in our rainbow family.
You know, very well said. Thank you. One of the last thing that I want to mention to you is we've been through the 50th anniversary of Stonewall, 50, 60 years of progress in America for the LGBTQI plus community. We talk about icons that push our community forward. I think of Bayard Rustin in the March on Washington and civil rights in the 60s. I think about Sylvia Rivera in 1969 at Stonewall. I think of Harvey Milk and his political advocacy in San Francisco in 1978. The judge of time and iconic and history is judged over the lens of having some time removed to examine. What is your reaction in the names that I just used of Rustin and Riviera and Milk, that in the course of history, one of the names that's going to be added to that list is going to be Rachel Levine?
Well, that is just an honor for you to mention my name in the context of of those heroes of the LGBTQI plus community. I realize that I stand on the shoulders of those who came before me in terms of the progress that we have made. Many of those are people, like you've mentioned, that we know their names. There are also so many names that we don't know, because they had to live and to work in the shadows. So I know that I will do everything I can to advocate for everyone in our LGBTQI plus community broadly. And I feel that that is my role and my legacy.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I think the lens of history is going to conclude exactly what I have just set up. Last moments of opportunity. What's next for us? What do you want to see from the community next?
Well, I think that that we need to continue our work. We cannot get discouraged. We have to continue to work together, and again, to work with an administration that and a president that sees us, that recognizes us, and that supports us.
Heard loud and clear. I thank you very much. To be honest with you, long advocacy in our community, I do not think I ever considered that I would have the opportunity to speak to somebody, the first trans person. Forgive me for continuing to provide that label and your name confirmed by the Senate. It's been quite a pleasure. And history, we are watching you closely. We're cheering you behind the scenes loudly. And Admiral Rachel Levine, 4-star Admiral, we thank you very much for being with us tonight here at Queer News Tonight.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Well, I encourage you to watch all 4 parts of this special interview with Admiral Dr. Rachel Levine. What did y'all think?
Wow. I'm just so impressed that we as a network have the access to this important woman. Like, as I was watching this interview, I'm like, I love everything that she's saying. She's saying what she should be saying, right? But I'm like, we had access to her. We have the opportunity to make her voice stronger. Like, what an exciting thing.
Mm-hmm. You know, it was interesting to your point. We had difficulty finding branding of LGBT and Admiral Levine. She is as public as she is. She's very private, and she is not a rainbow flag waving member of our community, but that does not diminish her advocacy in any way.
Absolutely.
Well, and she's a woman in a man's world, so she has to represent herself even more so. She has to gain that respect, you know? She doesn't just walk into a room and get it like most men do, you know? So she has to be the strong, silent type. And, you know, Al is a great interviewer, and he makes almost every single person smile or laugh. And I kept on waiting for the moment where she would maybe giggle or he would do something funny. And, you know, they should make a meme of just that one little spot where she goes, where you told her that she would be part of the Harvey Milks and, you know, the Sylvias, and she was just like, ha!
You know, it's funny.
Like, no, nobody saw me. There was a smile.
It was
But
a
it was
smile,
like,
yeah.
it was so quick that you could have missed it.
I want to reveal, to your point, I want to reveal something that our audience is not going to see. When we finished the interview, she was still on, and I repeatedly tried to get her to talk about the politics of what was going on, and she would not take the bait. She would not. She goes, I'm a health advocate. I'm going to talk about health, and I'm going to talk about the things you've seen in all 4 parts, but she wouldn't do it. And at the end of the interview, we were finished, where you just saw, and I said, you know, Admiral Levine, I just want to tell you, as a news guy, I hate that I could not get you to talk about politics, but I do understand and respect your decision. And she laughed. And it was like, I've been trying for 20 minutes to get you to smile and laugh. To your point there. Right. Yeah. Well, make sure you watch all 4 parts. She says a lot of incredible things, especially the Senate confirmation hearings and what she felt. This little senator in Kentucky that really got her goat. All right. Well, good evening, South Florida, and welcome to It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay television talk show. It's 9 p.m., Wednesday, November 3rd, 2021. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and let's start by meeting tonight's host. Well, before we do that, let me tell you that it's an exciting show, and what are we watching? It's Happening Out.
This week on It's Happening Out. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well, as I was telling you before the opening, I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson. I'm going to prove that we're live here. Let's start by meeting tonight's host. First off, this is Faye. What? She's a radio and television personality and has a popular blog and YouTube channel aiming to unite the L and the G together. She's a hostess and MC for many South Florida events, an animal advocate, and owner of Faye's Fur Family, and is the anchor of the travel news show Happening Out Travel. Also, make sure to catch the Faye What Show Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Good evening, Faye.
Good evening. Hola, mi gente. And I couldn't be happier to be sitting around this table with all you queers. Yeah!
You know, this is our final Halloween celebration, and we have a lot in common at this table because you were one of the hosts of the Pride Fort Lauderdale Halloween party.
I was. Me and Kitty Meow and the lovely DJ Snack Daddy was also the DJ.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and there was a chairman of this Halloween party, and that's this guy, Tony Lima. He is the CEO of SunServe here in Wilton Manors. Brand new. This is his first week. He just graduated from high school, and it's his first job. He is a longtime South Florida LGBTQ activist, of course, and political advocate, as well as the anchor of the world's first monthly transgender talk show called Translation. Good evening, Tony.
Good evening, Al. I'm so happy to be sitting here with all of you, sharing exactly how we feel about each other, first and foremost, but to have these great conversations. How was that interview with Dr. Rachel Levine?
It was amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Keep on watching. Make sure to catch Translation next month, and let's get on with the show.
Absolutely. And next up, you heard, this is Chef Josie. We keep this Halloween theme going from Pride Fort Lauderdale's party. She is a Bravo.
Boo.
You scared me. She's a Bravo TV top chef and master of the popular champagne and oyster celebration restaurant, Bubbles and Pearls, right in the heart of the famous Wilton Drive. We're going to celebrate a birthday tonight after the show. She is also known by her alter ego who played Friday night. That's DJ Lady Snack Daddy, and performs Sundays and through the week all over South Florida. Welcome, Chef Josie.
All right, what's up, people? Yeah, you know what's up. So we're gonna be, getting down and dirty here and popping off the parties and maybe popping off some bottles here. Are we popping off any bottles tonight?
Sure.
All right. Well, I know that's later. But
There's going to be drinking some vodka very shortly.
Well, there's definitely going to
can't
be
wait.
some great conversation, and I'm just looking forward to it. So, hey, everybody, what's up?
All right, and finally, last, this is John Hayden. He's a reporter for. Wait, how did South Florida Gay News get in the room?
You invited him.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Okay. Covering politics, arts, and philanthropic organizations. John's been a journalist for 26 years, which means he might be a little older. Much of it covering the stupidity and scandals of Hollywood. He's interviewed nearly every big name in TV, movies, music, and considers the time he spent with Cher as the best 4 minutes of his life. There's so many jokes there. Good evening, John.
Good evening. And I am ready to go back to interview whomever. This is my last engagement before the weekend. I'm heading out to Las Vegas.
Oh,
Fun.
And I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys for another hour and then sending my
Awesome.
out-of-office messages.
That's right. Excellent.
Fun.
I miss Vegas. I miss it. All right. Well, good evening, South Florida. We are the first and most popular live LGBTQ talk show in the world, and we have so much to talk about tonight. So as we say good evening, we told you we're the first and most popular live LGBTQ talk show in the world. I'm reading a teleprompter and screwing up.
We haven't even started drinking yet.
We haven't even started drinking, so you know exactly. So you know. Oh, I'm reading the opening video package again. That's great. All right. So as I told you for a third time, this is a live and unedited show. So if you're on YouTube, if you're still watching us, and you are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and click the bell for updates. If you're on Facebook, like and share this video. Whew. Finally,
You should start drinking. Just do it.
no, wow.
I feel like there should be 6 in these.
Yeah, there needs to be a lot
I was
more
going to
shots.
say, do you want to switch?
All right. All right, let's go. Oh, that's funny. Tony just told me he could do a better job hosting the show.
Maybe.
All right, let's begin with our unique meme of the week. It's called, "The CDC says the average number of sexual partners is 6 6.6. What do you think?
But that was my first thought, was like, oh, and how long? Like 6,
Yeah.
like as in total? Like forever?
I'm so confused.
I mean, like on Halloween night?
In right, in a weekend.
Like I lost
Girls
my
in
virginity and then it was like
Wonderland.
6 weeks.
Wait, don't put breadcrumbs on me. I'll go right with you. So it's a funny name,
It's
right?
cute.
Yeah,
It is cute. All right, that's enough of that.
The gays.
It's Happening Out is part of the partnership between Happening Out Television Network and Hotspots Magazine. Hotspots is celebrating 36 years of the LGBTQ experience. Together, we bring you the best of LGBTQ news, entertainment, and support of our community. So after the opening of that show, who needs a drink?
You guys do.
Let's
do it.
Let's play our yes or no game called I'd Swallow That. We invite you at home to play right along with us as I ask these hosts 4 questions. They agree with the question, they take the shot, and it is loaded with vodka, I assure you. You'll watch me probably get a little sloppy. Disagree? Well, it's going to be a long night, especially for me. All right, everybody ready?
Ready.
Let's play I'd Swallow That. This little thing happened in Wilton Manors this week. Wilton Manors Elementary every year brings students to one of their local restaurants to teach them about money and business. This year, a conservative parent had a fit, and it made national news. I'd swallow that. Trolls baited us in on Rosie's Wilton Manors Elementary scandal. And it worked. They baited us in.
They baited us in.
You didn't think it worked?
I mean, it didn't work for me. I was like, where's the scandal? I don't know. I when I heard about it, someone said, my dad called me and he said, Josie, did you hear? They took the elementary kids to a gay bar on Wilton Drive. I go, what? When did that happen? How did I not know about it? I know everything.
And why wasn't it yours?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right.
But, and then as I, dug a little deeper, I was like, what? They went to Rosie's? This is what this is about. I'm not even giving it energy. So that was the whole thing. I don't give energy to these kind of things, And it's just like they're baiting us to what? To fight for what is not even true? I'm not doing that. I have other things to do in my time. I hope the kids enjoyed Rosie's and their cheeseburgers.
And you know what? They did enjoy it. I spoke with a lot of the parents. I met a couple kids at Rosie's. They all turned out Friday night after a couple of withering days of just attacks. And the parents were there to support. The kids were having a good time. They were coloring. The faculty and staff. At the end of the day, we asked the question, did that work? I think it worked to show that we are a stronger community of 12,000 in the city and more out among the area. It served to show that we are a hell of a community, and I'm damn proud to live here almost 17 years.
Oh, and you should be. And you should be also proud of your reporting on SFGN on the story, because something that I was going to say to go with what Josie said, I was like, okay, did they take them to Johnson's? Which is like a boy bar where they're all showing their stuff. Okay? And then when I started reading more, I'm like, Rosie's doesn't even do drag shows anymore. You know what I mean? Like I was expecting it to be like a thing like that. So kudos to you for doing that story correct. Like when I first read it, I even went to Al, are we doing a story on this? He's like, this is not a story. This is like dumb. They're making a big thing out of nothing.
But that's just it, right? Humanity loves controversy. They like to create situations to freak people out. And that's exactly what happened here. Absolutely. I also got a call from a friend somewhere else, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But don't you work at Wilton Manors? Yes, in the center of it. No idea what you're talking about. This isn't an issue.
It is.
I'd like to know who that conservative parent is.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's called there's 7 of them, and they're called 1 Million Moms.
And there's 7 of them, right?
When a high school, let's move on. When a high school senior known for pushing boundaries of gender concepts in dress code ran for homecoming, he did a poll if he should run for king or queen. I'd swallow that. Missouri is the show me state, and I loved how they showed us as the first crowned homecoming queen. Congratulations.
Mazel to that.
By the way,
Mazel.
we're doing this shot.
What a beautiful
What do you think?
moment.
Yeah, we're showing it.
And what I love most is that this kid is working to leave a better school than he came. It's not just about him being that. He's working to change the dress code at the school and just change attitudes about what is femme, what is masculine. And I think he's going to make a mark well beyond high school. He's just warming up.
You know what's really interesting about your observation there is we watched this video and I love it, and the kudos of why he did it. He's the exact antithesis, the exact opposite of Faye What, because it would all be about the crown. That's it, just the crown. I gotta have the crown.
It's the truth. I'm sorry. Listen, on Sunday for Halloween, I didn't know what to dress up as. I saw the nearest crown and I plopped it on me. Hello, Queen.
It worked.
It worked.
Yeah,
I love
it works.
crowns.
Speaking of Halloween, I heard you had a doppelganger at Friday's Halloween.
Are
Is
we
that
really
true?
going to talk about the doppelganger?
Are there photos that we can
Folks at
show?
Folks at home, on Friday I was hosting the beautiful Halloween extravaganza at the Dakota here in South Florida, and I run into Mr. Al Ferguson dressed as me. He's dressed as Faye What, okay? He had a sash that said Faye What, and at the back it said Miss Jersey, all right? And he had a red dress on.
Red
I guess he
dress.
was mimicking me at the Task Force Gala. His makeup was all distorted, a mess.
It was
Best part,
contoured beautifully.
He had good hair, though.
he had gray hair.
really
He
good
had
hair.
Gray hair, and he was carrying around my dog Padme. Okay, that he decided to call Pad Thai the whole entire
Right,
time.
Pad Thai.
And he swept the floor of the Design Center of the Americas all night long Friday evening.
Off
That was my
leash.
dog.
Pad Thai never got off leash because you don't let your pets off the leash.
No, she
And
got
I just
stepped on.
dragged-
She got dragged. She got a bunch of other things.
By 2 a.m., Pad Thai was pretty much done. I'm just saying.
And you loved it. You seemed very comfortable dressed up as a woman, Al.
Well, and you know what's really sad? My observation is we can.
There he
oh,
is.
There
There
she is.
Oh. In the
there
bathroom, guys. What are you doing?
Right.
Wait,
Well, that's archtype.
Wait, which one's
that's
Faye,
where
which
Faye
one's
What
Al?
mostly is.
Is that the green room?
Exactly. It was
It's like
a
looking
fun-
in the mirror. It's like
it was-
looking in the mirror. And let me tell you, thank you so much for solidifying my sobriety. I will never, ever drink if it means that I someday will look like you looked on Friday. Ever.
I was sitting in a VIP lounge, and she looked at me from across the lounge, and I mouthed because you couldn't hear. If you need makeup tips.
I got you. I'm like, wow.
All right, let's move on. Back in 1994, GOP politician Jack Cirarelli, something like that, supported an ordinance that banned rude or indecent behavior that included profanity and insulting remarks. I'd swallow that. This week, New Jersey governor's candidate, by the way, breaking news, we've just heard in the last moments, he lost the election, a tiny bit, but lost the election. He wants to ban cursing, and I think it's silly. Who cares about cursing?
Well, I drink to the fact that if he got his way, this show would be canceled.
Yes.
Although we try. We really, really try.
Well, because of
not
the
to
cursing,
curse.
you mean?
Yeah.
Do we though?
We do
Because of the
try.
cursing?
Fuck that.
Wow.
Ruined our episode.
Wow.
YouTube's on the phone going, you're not being monetized.
Exactly.
It's not
Right.
gonna happen.
Yeah, I just go beep, 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 beep. You know, it doesn't even matter. I mean, that's so ridiculous. Now we're going to start monitoring people's, the words that the word choosing. And in that way, we're grown-ups. Okay. You know, I waited until I was 18 to be able to throw an F-bomb here and there,
Please.
and call someone, whatever. And really, come on, and now I say frick, and I say, shut the front door. And, when I have
Like
kids
if you're 11
around.
years old, because you're cute.
Yeah, just to like kind of whatever curb it, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Don't come
Look,
and
do you
monitor
remember,
my
do you-
language.
do you remember last week? Remember how I said last
Yeah.
week with what's on my mind? I had said that I don't trust people who don't curse.
Yeah.
I don't, because it's a way that you get your point across. And as a woman from Jersey, it's part of our freaking fiber
Yeah.
to basically curse like on every sentence.
That's right.
The fact that
Yeah.
I'm sitting behind this desk, I filter myself,
Yeah.
mother. You get it, right?
Exactly.
I had an interesting experience last week. I'm an uber libertarian on language. Wait, say whatever you want, whatever
Yeah.
words. Words can't hurt, as long as we all agree that words cannot hurt. I did a charity event. I went to a nursing home. I did a visitation with Faye last week, and we visited, and she walked into a room where this woman was in an oxygen tent, and she goes, "I love your fucking oxygen tent." And I realized, right? Maybe trying to say,
I'm
right?
shocked, but I'm not
I
shocked.
am who I am. I am
All right.
who I am.
Let's move on. GOP Senator Josh Hawley.
Yum.
You have to pause when you say his name.
Oh, God.
Reverently. GOP Senator Josh Hawley, who has been involved in the January 6th insurrection as well as an uber anti-LGBTQ plus advocate and for many causes against our community, wants people to know how hard it is to be cis and white.
Yes.
Oh, the struggles are real. I'd swallow that. Senator Josh Hawley has launched a podcast about the struggles of being straight, white, and cis. And the struggle is, it's not real. No, it's not real.
No.
Wait.
It's not.
I
Yeah,
didn't
If I
No,
take
I
this
mean,
shot,
no,
it's
no, no.
not real.
It's
That's what-
not real.
that's
Come
why I just
on,
did that.
okay? Like this guy, he just wants he wants attention. He wants a platform. So now he's going to be speaking on behalf. And sorry to all my white friends here on the at the table, but
Getting ready to be bitch slapped.
No. Speaking on behalf of the white men who've been in power for like hundreds and
250
hundreds,
years.
years here. And
Forever.
then all of a sudden, what are you sensitive because like people of color are coming out and understanding their worth and their value in this world and holding and staking their claim in what is theirs. This is not about you. This is about us all being recognized and acknowledged, and there's an equality that needs to be like understood across the country, okay? This is not about, no one cares. No one is attacking the white man, okay? No one is attacking the white man. You guys already have like stockpiled all kinds of shit to like,
Wait. You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you,
Yeah.
white man. But like, this is what I'm saying. But this guy in particular, he's totally in left field, and I can't even stand him.
Can I
so.
tell you guys something that I pride myself in having an extraordinarily, really good gaydar, okay? You can put somebody in front of me, male or female. Remember the girl in the elevator? I knew, okay? I have a great gaydar.
Yeah.
And I don't know about this Josh Hawley guy, but I get the aura of him being kind of closeted gay. Is that too far from the truth? No.
Ish. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of outing men that want to stay in the
That means
closet,
yes.
but-
Okay, thank you. Move on.
But you know what's really interesting about Hawley? His pain is real. I applaud his podcast because let's face it, his family historically has lost their plantation and all of their slaves and all their worker wage. That's a whole another conversation. All right.
Wow.
Let's move out of I swallow that. Next up,
Let's.
let's consider.
Actually, I'm just going to keep swallowing if you're cool with
Right,
that.
yeah, exactly.
John, I like you,
but, right.
Right here,
Next,
Jake.
let's consider the best thing of the week. Jurassic Park Dominion comes out soon, but this new flashback to the original featuring Owl Kitty has the internet in stitches. Watch this.
Keep absolutely still. This vision is based on movement.
Oh my my God.
Oh, that pussy is everything. Wow.
How often do you say that, by the way?
Every time I walk into my house.
Good answer.
Good answer.
I thought that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Just so much fun. And it's a great sort of tease for what's to come with Jurassic Park, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Right? Not that the owl kitty is going to be in it, but it's a nice sort of throwback to that.
Yeah.
It totally looks like my go-go, and so now I'm gonna have dreams because that's kind of how he acts right now, and he's only, you know, so big. But he will step on my chest and like gnaw on my face, and I just don't understand that. So I might have nightmares after that best thing of the week.
That's funny. All right, well, let's move on to our segment called What's on Your Mind. Each host is getting ready to tell us in just 30 seconds what's important to them this week. I love this segment because I hear lots of different kinds of things. But remember, in just 30 seconds, or you're going to hear this bell. There it is. Faye, what? Tell us what's on your mind this week.
Faye, what? So I'm here to break almost every lesbian stereotype that you've ever heard, okay? But there are a few that are correct, all right? There is a passion between cats. It's funny that we just had that. What's the best thing of the thing that we were just talking about, the cats? Okay, so lesbian and cats, we love each other, all right? We get along with each other. Yes, most lesbians have cats. Why? Because cats and lesbians, we both like to cuddle. Cats groom themselves a lot. So do lesbians, all right? Cats are unpredictable. So are lesbians. Lesbians need all your attention and all your love, but it's got to be on our terms. Lesbians and cats. That's how we roll. There, now you know.
At the end of the show, we're going to give you a link to translate what Faye Watt just told you about. Tony Lima, tell us what's on your mind.
I have to take a couple seconds to show you my confused face after what my sister Faye just said. I have no idea what she's talking about, but it sounds like cats and Faye are like the same thing. But anyway, with that said, what's on my mind is I can't believe that we're almost at the end of the year already, and that Thanksgiving is almost here. We're about to celebrate Pride in Fort Lauderdale. We're about to honor those trans family members that have died coming up on T-Door. And to me, it's just incredible that we're at the end of the year so quickly. I don't know if it's because of the pandemic and everything that we've been through, but it almost seems like this year's been a whirlwind. And now that I've started my new job, I feel like the extra pressure that this whirlwind is sort of pushing me with it, right? So that's what's on my mind.
Excellent. And also the translation of that statement will be at the end of It's Happening. Steph Josie, what's on your mind this week?
Oh my God, there is so much on my mind. We don't have an entire show for it. So I'm going to give you the short version. I'm reading this book right now. It's called Limitless. And it like really, you know, kind of like, it's really having me and inviting me into a space of questioning what would be possible if there were no limits, and like what am I willing to do in order to have that life of my dreams. And you know, as I had this really busy weekend and I have a busy month and we're going into the holidays and time becomes a conversation, like what are you willing to maybe compromise or exchange for your life of your dreams?
Wow. Super interesting. And John Hayden, what's on your mind this week?
This week, as I mentioned, I'm heading out to Las Vegas in the morning, which I really can't wait for. But what I'm going to be doing...
Are you going out with your father?
I am going out with Dad, yeah.
Awesome. He does this pilgrimage out to Vegas with his father.
Oh, that's sweet.
I think they both get horse. I'm not sure.
You're getting pretty close there, because while we are going to see the Rolling Stones, this will be our second Stones concert together.
Awesome.
We're also going to make a trip that I would have never imagined as a kid or as someone in my mid-40s a couple years ago. We're going to go shop for weed. Dispensaries are open for recreational use. So I'm going to go to the weed store. I've been talking with my dad about it. I was like, well, I like the dark chocolate and the berry gummies. And Dad's like, well, I like this and that. So I'm going to basically the Publix of weed. And I can't wait.
That's awesome. You're more of an edibles guy?
I am an edibles guy, yeah.
Me too. Aspen Gay Ski Week. I highly recommend it. All right. Next up, let's catch up on the news of the world of entertainment. And this is kind of a strange entertainment topic this week. When a lesbian adult performer, one of the most famous in the world, walked off the set last week of a film because she found out her co-star was trans. It sparked a hashtag, I stand with lesbians. The performer and many other TERFs claim that trans women are predatory toward lesbians and should be stopped. So our entertainment hot topic for tonight is LGBTQ plus is at war with ourselves. Lesbian adult film star Lily Cade, or perhaps Katie, calls for violence against trans women. What do y'all think about what's going on here amongst our community?
Well, there should never be violence against trans women or anyone. That's just a basic thing. Also, I have many friends who have worked and do work in the adult business. No one should be forced to have sex or to have to interact with someone that they don't feel comfortable with. But just to label transsexuals in general and to call for violence is absolutely reprehensible.
Especially when it's such a problematic issue within our community where trans women of color specifically are losing their lives every single day, are victimized by their own partners, are killed out in the streets. Like, this kind of stuff can't continue to happen. Like, this performer needs to be educated. She needs to be enlightened. And I think that's part of the problem. But this has happened before, right? There's been issues. I don't remember the name of the event, but there was a lesbian event that wanted to exclude trans women, and it became an issue like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yes, and that lesbian event is no longer. So if we want to go ahead and really get into it like that, you know, look, I don't stand, so Kate or whatever your name is, okay, I don't stand with any lesbian that calls for violence on anyone in our community. So put that in your book right now. But the next thing is you're in an industry where, you know, it's kind of your responsibility to know what's going on in your scenes, okay? So maybe it might mean, you know, because, I mean, we do know what is happening on some of those scenes, okay? Because, John, you and I, we have friends who are in that industry.
Wait,
I bet
we watch porn.
Yeah, we watch porn. I mean, I'm pretty certain that I know, you know, what goes on behind the scenes. So maybe a little accountability and responsibility would be a next step for you in the industry that you're choosing right now. And let's go ahead and focus on the safety of all women, period, in that industry, instead of going and trying to label a part of our community, the LGBTQAI plus part of our community, the T specifically, and trying to, you know, call for harm on them. And this is a problem for me. So just so you know, this lesbian doesn't stand with you, okay?
Yeah, and that makes 2 lesbians, okay? And let's talk about, first of all, I don't know why you called her an adult star, because I watch a lot of porn and I've never heard of this woman. I watch a lot of porn, all right?
Me too.
Okay, now, Lily, let me start by saying that you're transphobic. Let me start by saying that you are gross, okay? Trans women are not men, okay? Trans women are freaking women. Plain and simple, dot, period, done, okay? Trans women are not predators, okay? And they're not dangerous. You know who is in this scenario? You freaking are. You really are. And it's just disgusting. It's really disgusting.
I don't understand, first off, an adult performance perspective, which is what she's talking about. Both are paid performers. So how can you be predatory when you're paid for the participation in the activity that you're getting? That kind of minimizes a lot of the argument for me. Different than your summary, which was, both of your summaries, which is quite good. The one thing that I don't understand is, why does Lily Cade think that the broad community is not more important than her individually, or how she lumps herself into speaking for all lesbians? Because the predator against you, Lily Cade, and lesbians, Josie and Faye, are Tucker Carlson's and Laura Ingram's and Sean Hannity's. And I don't understand why our community doesn't work as hard as they should to unite against the wolves that are at our door. And the wolves that are at our door are not trans women. They are not lesbians. They are not gay men. They're not bisexual individuals. They're not queer identifying or gender fluid people. It's the conservatives that may sit on the Supreme Court that says, if you can just breathe the word religious independence, we will side with you against the rights of the LGBTQ community. Or a state legislature in Mississippi that is trying to wipe out an entire class of even being able to give them health care, which is a fundamental right. I don't understand. And somebody, if you've got wisdom on this, explain to me why our own community does not almost universally stand up for each other.
Yeah,
Why
because we like
don't
to
we?
we like to eat each other instead of focusing our energy on where the real attack comes from. And I always have said that it comes from a place of ignorance, right? Because it's easier to go like this to the guy who's in the room with you, going, "You're the cause, you're the reason, you're the problem," as opposed to taking on the big guy, the bigger problem, the problem that you're seeing is a lot of cowardness, okay, and the inability to be present to where the real threat is coming from. And that's why it takes leaders who have some more knowledge, a little bit more wisdom, and a whole bunch of enrollment to get people behind them and mobilize these people and refocus our energies. Because right now we're eating each other like cannibals, right? Instead of taking all this energy that we have, all of these resources that we have, and taking it and taking the fight to the people who actually are trying to silence our community. They're trying to hide our community. They're trying to harm our community. They're trying to rip our families apart, and they're trying to take our civil liberties away. So when we think about it like that, you know, that's why you see me getting involved in politics. You think I want to be involved in politics? It's a much quieter life if I just go and sit on an island somewhere with my feet in the sand, okay?
Yeah.
But this is not what it is. If I care about every young LGBTQAI plus person who's coming up in the ranks, just like you're still in the game right now, that's not a sideways, I promise.
Yeah.
But like, it's a generational, like we're holding the torch. We're passing the torch. And in order for us to pass the torch, we have to hold the community. We have to nurture the community. We have to lift the community. And we have to have a community to pass the torch. You get what I mean? Otherwise, it's not going to, this is just all BS.
You know,
What you're saying is you're indifferent about the whole thing.
Yeah. You know what's interesting to me in the extensive interview that I did with Admiral Levine, it crossed my mind over and over again. I didn't say it to her, but we played a moment where Senator Rand Paul viciously attacked her in the Senate confirmation hearings. She was confirmed 52-48, which means congratulations, you got 100% of the Democrats and 2 Republicans. That's bipartisanship. We define that in getting just 2 out of 50. Okay, fine. It was not lost on me that Senator Rand Paul, white eye doctor in Kentucky, would be, if he did not know, I am Kentucky white passing, meaning I'm the good old boy in Kentucky, and would not reveal that I'm gay guy, advocate in the LGBTQ community. I could pass in Kentucky. And that mere fact of no qualification, no moral compass, no commitment to community, no, I'm a worthwhile person, I can pass in Rand Paul's book. And Rachel Levine cannot. And that's what he was saying in the Senate confirmation. And for me, as I'm doing this interview, I realize all of the people through the years that have said, Al, you've got to educate yourself, came to that moment because I thought about it over and over again. I could walk away from our community and be completely fine because of my privilege. And that's exactly everything that's wrong about America. That's what I just heard you say. And I say that to this porn star that's attacking the trans community. Up next, if we were standing around the LGBTQ water cooler, this is what we think we'd all be talking about, and we refer to it as our hot topic of the week. Kind of tough here. The governor's race in Virginia is being called a war against race, a rally for Trump, and lots of other things. Our hot topic this week, by the way, we lost the governor's house in Virginia. And our hot topic this week is crystal ball, what the Republican win in Virginia means for LGBTQ America now. What do you think it means? Where are we going? What's going to happen next?
I don't want to curse. I was going to say, we are.
Well, I think it means that I saved back some of my vodka because I knew we had this topic coming up. I don't think it has to mean a lot more than it does. I think it means we need to start paying attention to the places where we won just by the margins. In Pennsylvania, we lost by the margins in Florida, in Georgia, Arizona. Those are the places where we need to build. So this is what says, this is the wake-up call to say you need to focus on this. That doesn't have to really reach, because there's still, I believe that the Democrats still control at least the House in that state. So it's not a full washout, but we need to say these are the things that people are talking about. This is what is important, and this is why we need to basically unify. I mean, my God, we can't even get an infrastructure package that we want, that everybody wants, but only 90% of Democrats will vote for.
74% of all Americans, including, by the way, 72% of West Virginians want it, and they can't get their senator to say, well, let's do that.
So until, like we were talking about with the LGBT community earlier, until we can get our together and start, agreeing in our own community, we're not going to be able to get the
Has anybody noticed today we're at Virginia election 2021? Let's make it broader. 2021 election plus 1 day. Has anybody just overwhelmingly said, my gosh, our social media today is full of the outrage of what happened in Virginia? Can anybody say that?
No.
Can't
say that. Our community is like, whoosh, you can hear the wind whistling down our social media halls.
But I think to John's point, like, this is the warning, right? Like, I don't think all is lost by far. This is the warning. This is like, we have to recalibrate. We have to pay attention. We have to work harder. The sad thing is that this happens after every election cycle. When we change political parties that's in power, this is exactly what happens. So that's the part for me that makes me a little bit nervous, because it's happened before. It's almost like this is the same pattern over and over again.
Here's the question, though, to that observation. There's something different going on this time, because I framed this question with Levine. These are the best of times and the worst of times. The best of times in our history. Obama, I said Obama is going to go down as the greatest LGBT advocate in history. I had no idea that Joe Biden was waiting in the wings. So the best of times for our community since the Stonewall riots have been the last 9 months. We have never seen embracement of our community like the last 9 months. This is all at risk. Why are we not practically rioting in the streets?
Part of the reason, I think, is because people get complacent as well. We always talk about that when this kind of thing happens. We're all starting to feel very safe. We're all starting to feel like somehow we're winning the game, and that's not the reality.
I think it's also something that we're missing here. The point is to get focused up. And focused up meaning, like, there is an overwhelm of issues, right, that are important to not just the LGBTQ community, but the entire country, right? And people who are like-minded, and are allies to our community, those points are also, relatable. But what I'm talking about in focusing up, it's like, now we go, warning shot. Okay, now what are we focusing on? If we come back and now we go out there and we start spreading out pamphlets, and there's a whole book of things that maybe don't touch, I think we need to commit to 5 things that we're really about as a party, as a community, and then there's that, right? Because as I said it coming out of my mouth, it just went like, oh my God, party, right? We're talking about the Democratic Party, right? The Democratic Party is not the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is also the Progressive Party. And the Progressive Party, you have Andrew, who's coming out now and has a new Hope Party. I think that's what it's called, right? So what we're not understanding is right now, I don't care how many friggin' parties there are, as long as we're all on the same page and we can vote
your enemy, the wolf knocking at the door.
Correct. And, and this seems to be now a problem that's shared not only in our community, but it's across the board. No one knows how to identify the true enemy. The true enemy is not each other. The true enemy are the people who are coming at your same.
zero in as one person sitting at the table, perhaps John too, but for sure me, I'm good. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happens over the next 12 months, over the next 5 years, I can generally say, oh, I'm okay. No problem.
Like Chappelle said, without a knee to your neck, you're gonna live. No
I'm
matter what. Without
gonna-
being gay, you'll still be white.
There's no knee coming for my neck. It's not going to happen. But look here in South Florida and look here in Florida. We have a DeSantis re-election coming. We have a Marco Rubio re-election coming. And both of those individuals say, you're not important. You're not important. You're not important. You might pass. So it's easy for me to go, y'all, dudes, I'm out.
Good luck.
No problem. Good luck. Hope you do well. And I don't understand when I voice this why it's not a rallying cry to go, oh my God, we're under attack and we know who the wolf at the door is.
But that's the thing. So every one of the subgroups within the progressive community are looking at a different enemy of sorts. They're not equating that it's one same enemy trying to keep us all down. So the communities of color don't necessarily mix with the LGBTQ community unless they see that there's an intersection somehow that's meaningful to them. Groups are not, this is what happens historically with Democrats, right? Groups are not connecting. The black folks aren't connecting with the gay folks, aren't connecting with whoever, the Latinos. So everybody's kind of like looking at who they think their enemy is and trying to fight that enemy, and then we all fall apart in the end. That's what I think is tragic.
When you
Everybody's doing
say
their own
that,
thing.
Pretty
when you
much.
say that, how is that broadly any different of what the girls say about the boys in our community, or the boys say about the trans community?
It's the truth.
Or
Yeah.
the girls say about the bisexual community, or the queer
Incredibly
community.
equatable, yes.
Well, then it's a recipe for defeat.
We're screwed.
No, and you know what? It's very sad. It's very sad when you consider that we all just are now kind of rebounding from a pandemic that totally leveled everyone, right? And the pandemic leveled us all. And I thought for a moment that there was a hope that we all were able to touch human again, and that we were able to realize that the color of our skin didn't separate us, and that our wallets didn't separate us, and our cultures didn't separate us, and that at the end of the day we all bled, and that we're all human, and we'll all die, and we all need to eat and breathe clean air. I don't know what has happened that we just now have bounced back with all of our commitment to being segregated
Right.
and looking for that intersection. I think the intersection is human. And I thought
Agreed,
that,
agreed.
I thought that we knew that already.
But it's an issue of equity, right? Like we all haven't been leveled the same.
Correct.
Because I went through the pandemic quite fine, still making a paycheck, working
Right.
from my house,
Yeah.
right? Worried about getting a haircut and trimming my beard while we had trans people of color living under bridges,
Right.
Not having access to the appropriate healthcare that they needed at the moment.
Family starving. in the
Absolutely,
Midwest, and
absolutely.
I get that, yeah.
You know, the hot topic this week talks about Virginia. The election was yesterday, so it's a line in the sand plus 1 day. We have 1 year. I don't want to sound too negative because I know people tune out when they do. But if there is a bellwether, if a bell is ringing, if a dog whistle can be blown to get you to pay attention to what is happening, we have had the greatest embracement of our community in history in the last 8 months. It's all at risk. It's all at risk.
All of it, yeah.
And if we do not find a way to stand up and say, no more, and this is what we're going to do, we have dramatic things at risk. And I'm just saying, I'm doing the best I can to recognize I'll be okay. I'm trying to bring this to the forefront of saying, but there's lots and lots and lots of people that are currently not okay and will not be okay if what the inevitable is going to be.
Absolutely.
John said, you brought me to a stop at Queer News Tonight when you said the house is off. We've lost it already. I don't disagree with your opinion, but it's shocking of your opinion because our challenge then is, if that's true, we must do everything we can humanly possible to change that outcome. And I know you want the same thing.
You know, there's one last thing I'd just like to say about this. We have a deep conversation about it, and it takes us like 20 minutes to kind of get to the heart of it, right? Imagine the average understanding and capacity for the average person to understand what is going on. We make this so complicated, right? And we make politics so complicated.
Yeah.
And my plea, you know, and my call to action is that everyone who's already in this field of work, like, it's time for us to simplify the language. It's time for us to simplify the ask. It's time for us to simplify the call to action so we can get people on board who like and really like tap into their hearts. You know, it's going to require some work, but it's
Going to require a lot of work. And by the way, you become a commercial of the importance of It's Happening Out, because a conversation like this is not happening anywhere in America. You can read and read and read and read. Lots and lots of people don't. John is a reporter that specializes in written words, does it beautifully. This opportunity allows him to lift those words off the page and explain what he's writing about. These words allow us to explain what is going on and why it's important to you. It's Happening Out is important for this, and I defend and fight for this platform because of exactly this. Everything that you think is important to you is at risk, and that's what Virginia taught us yesterday. Let's move on. Let's explore the LGBTQ plus world this week with some silly and important headlines, hopefully more silly, in the LGBTQ news this week. But it's a lightning round. Let's discuss them in our segment called Say by the Bell. But there's a twist. We are only going to discuss each headline for just 1 minute, and at the end of that 1 minute, regardless of where we are in words, you're going to hear that bell, and we're going to move on. Everybody understand? Everybody agree? Here we go. In a recent interview, singer Ed Sheeran, you know, by the way, this landed over me very personally, said he never felt hugely masculine growing up. Say by the Bell headline number 1, Ed Sheeran thought he was gay growing up due to feminine side thoughts. What do y'all think about what Ed Sheeran told us?
I thought he was gay.
I wished he was gay.
There's two different things going on there. You thought he wanted.
Yes, yes. I think it's a very courageous thing to say as a big public figure that has such an incredible fan base. And it also shines a light on those of us that aren't necessarily defined in our community. People that are gender non-binary, people that are gender fluid, people that are somehow on the trans spectrum. Like this is a really courageous thing, and I'm happy he's talking about it.
Yeah, it shows that he is evolved enough to recognize that he has a platform, and when he could be talking about, let me not get myself in trouble right now, but when he could be talking about nothing, let's just say that, and like some other celebrities choose to do, instead he's talking about things that are relevant and that are relevant to that Gen Z
Absolute unity.
To all of us.
That's right. He's a dog whistle for the people that we really want to have a dog whistle for.
Yeah.
All right. Queer as Folk. Remember the show, that groundbreaking show for many, including me, and people looking, and other people are looking forward to the New Orleans sequel coming soon. Saved by the Bell headline number 2. It's happening. The first picture of the new Queer as Folk
Do I know
cast
her?
Quite
were
lovely.
posed together in an impromptu picture in New Orleans. What do y'all think?
Is that Andy Senor?
Really?
The guy in the beard.
Don't care. No,
Yeah.
man, come
Oh, I
on.
do
You
care.
cannot remake Queer as Folk. I mean,
Yes,
all
you
those
can.
all those people on that show were just so incredible. None of these people are jumping out at me. Maybe
Wait.
it'll turn.
Can I ask you the same question, exact same observation you just made, exact same standard? What do you think about the L word?
I can't answer that because then I won't get any more
Re-
pussy for the rest of
Hello! Boop, touchdown!
Yeah, like, don't touch that one.
I'm not.
Oh, okay. That's the way you should do it.
Ah!
Queer as Folk, come on. 9-inch Night.
All I
Thursday.
know is, Al, you better let me know when they're filming so I can make my way to New Orleans and find my way onto the set somehow and like dance with them.
I know
Tony.
that they have a non-binary character now as well as part of it. I don't know if the girl's a lesbian. I don't know.
And look how diverse
Probably
they
not
are. Like, I'm
binary.
excited about the diversity.
Blah,
I am.
blah, blah.
No,
It's
it's
I am.
true.
I am
Even
excited about
Ryan
diversity.
McConnell, who wasn't, he was the epicenter of Special, if you'll remember.
Uh-huh.
Why are you making these faces? This is important stuff for
That
this
Mitch
new
McConnell's
generation.
son, who is this?
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
this
No,
is
and I
hard.
believe that's Andy Señor, who's
I'm giving
Cuban
this a-
American and was a Broadway star.
I'm
He's
giving,
cute.
Yes.
I'm giving you a bonus 20
adorable.
seconds to the topic so I can drop a mic. I was on the set of Queer as Folk, and I was in one of the dance scenes at Queer as Folk that I get to watch. I wasn't in the camera.
I was going to say.
I don't remember you.
in the filming in the bar that they were filming at in Toronto. That's what they had for Pittsburgh. Everybody was dancing, and I didn't know this. This was my first experience to this of everything is fake. All of us know, by the way, everything is fake.
They're just dancing to nothing, right?
They're
Nothing.
dancing to nothing.
Yeah.
They're dancing because they want no interference of sound in terms of the dialogue. It was cool.
But in their mind, they're all hearing Christine W. Dun, dun, dun.
Can I just say one thing, Al? Just one thing. The old Queer as Folk, I was a fan, but it was all the same stories about the same bunch of pretty white people. This doesn't look like that to me. This looks like there's diversity. Yes, they're all pretty, but there's diversity. The stories are going to be incredibly interesting, I think, just by looking at the cast of characters. So I'm
And that's
super
what
excited about
they
it.
said about L Word
Here's-
Generation Q. They said the same thing.
Here's my reply. Brian Kenny.
No one.
All right. No one.
That is yummy.
There we go. There we go. That's how you shut down Tony Lima. Say what? And Tony Lima in the same 1-minute segment. Yep. Touchdown. All right. Batman's sidekick Robin has been the alter ego of several characters over the years. In the new comic Robins, these and those characters are appearing on special fitness-themed covers. We don't know why, because they don't explain it, and we frankly don't care. Saved by the Bell headline number 3. New DC Robins comic covers are hot and sweaty. What do we think
Don't
about
those
Robin?
pictures look like they belong on Miami Gay List?
They
Right?
do.
Like we should call Dale and tell him to do something about this. I
Yeah.
mean, they're sexy. I didn't even know Robin was that sexy. He's
Yeah.
cute, and I don't give 3 craps about any of these comic books. You know?
I would stand in front of a light and send him my bat signal.
Oh,
Good job,
child.
They're comics. They're
not
like a
real.
cartoon.
Not real.
Like,
my
what
bat
is
signal.
going on? Oh my God. Oh my God.
You know, I watched a recent interview with Burt Ward, the original Robin in the 1960s TV show, and they were talking about how Robin has evolved over the years when they did show him. But when he did it in the 60s, apparently Burt Ward is very endowed. And they had to create a special piece to pad him so he could not be seen because they did not want to see any genitalia at all. And because he was exceptionally large, they had to build something specifically to be able to cover it.
So you're-
I fell in love with Burt Ward at that,
I
or
bet.
Burt Ward at that
I
moment.
bet. So you're telling me
Bat
that
cave.
Robin was tucked?
No,
He's
they
telling you
had
that he's a
like
bottom.
Who?
You.
Oh, child. All right. Even though production could have sworn that Kumar came out when he was working for Obama to overturn, you remember, Don't Ask, Don't Tell? It was apparently a Mandela effect. Saved by the Bell headline number 4, Cal Penn comes out. And he announces his engagement before his tell-all memoir.
Is there anything that this guy hasn't done? I mean, think about, Kumar, their experience to White Castle, right?
Yeah. Oh my God,
all those
hilarious.
movies are them really high, looking for food and having their adventures. Then he goes and he was on Designated Survivor with Kiefer Sutherland,
Love
where he was
that.
an
Me
amazing
too.
character.
Did you
Loved
love
his
that
character
show?
on that,
Oh, yeah.
where he was the press secretary. And then he goes to work for Obama. And you're like, man, is there anything that this actor can't do? I love him. Now I love him even more.
And then he comes
Is
out.
that who,
Okay, well, first
is that
we
who
are-
he's engaged
Yes, that's
to?
his boo.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, how
Cute.
cute.
11 years he's been with
11
him.
years
Oh
she's been
my
with him.
God.
They're very
Not
But we-
secretly,
we
but
already knew he was gay though.
I didn't.
I didn't know either.
My
Yeah, it was-
gaydar
it was one
never
of those
went off, and
open
my
secret
gaydar is
things.
very refined.
Yeah.
It didn't go off.
Well,
I thought he was just kooky, you know.
as long
like
as the reception's
comedian
at
like-
White Castle, I'm totally here for it.
Oh my
You know,
God.
the funny thing is, 90% of our audience has no idea what we're talking about on White Castle. No idea. What city is White Castle from?
Kentucky.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
All right, next up. For 27 years, Out Magazine has compiled the 100 people in the LGBTQ plus community that they feel are the most influential. Saved by the Bell, headline number 5. The 2021 Out 100 is revealed. What does it say about the LGBTQ community? And before anybody says it, we have an Out 100 recipient sitting at the table.
Me. I was a recipient back in 2010. It was more than 10 years ago. And
It's still valid?
I've got to say, no, it is.
Yeah.
It is to Al's point. It definitely still is valid, and it was definitely an honor. The difference between 10 years and now, we have more black and brown representation. We have more women. We have more trans women that are represented in the Out 100 more than ever. I doubt there was even one when I was getting
In the first decade of Out 100, there was never a drag queen.
Wow.
RuPaul Charles appeared, I think, like in 2003, but as RuPaul Charles, not RuPaul.
And on this list, there was quite a few queens.
An Out 100 event in New York City.
Oh.
So it was like as an honoree.
See?
I haven't hit the list yet, but call me.
Is Out 100 still relevant today? Is it important, valuable?
Yes,
It's
of course
important.
it's
It's important. We need to open up a magazine and just show proof that the reason that we keep on shining our light so bright wherever we go is because we're represented.
Absolutely love
sorry.
that
Yeah.
answer. It's the right
Absolutely.
answer. We must stand up. I said, if you win an Academy Award in 1978, the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences says you're an Oscar winner forever.
Yeah.
That year, you were incredibly important to us. There's the award. But you were important to us forever. I feel the exact same way about Out 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, a beautiful answer. All right. And we're all about gay culture here, so that's why I would think that. Well, finally tonight, we're the LGBTQ community, and in addition to gay culture, it means something. What does it mean?
Sex!
It means sex, of course. And I always
that what it
am
means?
sad that it's only the girls that yell that. Tony and
like,
John
I don't know.
apparently are lazy bottoms. So,
Pillow queens. We call them pillow
pillow
I
queens.
am not a pillow queen.
John's
like, yes. John's like, yes. Yes.
John has no denial. It's
All right.
like, yeah, okay. All right. So
Bring it.
as we said, that means sex and relationships. So let's play a game that we played from the first night of It's Happening Out over 3 years ago. Our game asks you, who would you do? What would you do? And with 3 different interesting people. Tonight our game, of course, is called Shag, Marry, Chop. And our theme of Halloween is over. So now it's time to start planning for Thanksgiving. And if we do pilgrims or something, it's really going to be...
Little turkeys. People dressed as turkeys. Yes.
I don't know what we're playing. We're
I don't know how
we're
I get
getting ready to
myself
see.
into these kind of
I was going to say. So everybody at the table, hold on, because this could go
boy,
really
here
bad
we
really
go.
quickly.
That's what I'm counting on.
And we're getting hot in the kitchen. Okay, all right, we're pulling up a little. We're pulling out of the crash dive we were moving to with these sexy chefs. Oh, there we go.
Hey, all right. I'll shag
All right.
Josie.
So
Oh, sorry. What? Sorry, I thought we had started. My apologies.
right. So this week we're going to play with David Templer, the shirtless chef. The shirtless chef, Francisco Noriega.
Noriega.
Yes. The naked chef. Oh, I know. Actually, I know Matt.
yeah.
Matt Adlard, and the topless baker. So let's play Shag, Marry, Chop. Faye, let's start with you. Who are you shagging?
Okay, so I'm gonna shag, or I'll let him shag me, David Templer, the shirtless chef. All right, I feel like we would have a lot of fun in the kitchen and heat things up, and I'm liking his breast. I don't know, they look like girl breasts. I kinda like
Are
it.
y'all noticing Francisco?
I'm noticing. I am.
Yes, no,
I
I
am.
am noticing it by
fixated.
far, which is why I'm marrying him. So,
Wait,
All
that's
right.
true for the girls too? Because it's definitely true for the boys.
Listen, it is true. All right, just Francisco, get ready. Your last name will now be what? Francisco what? All right. Francisco, all right? Francisco what?
I have just spit my shot up.
And so that means I have to chop Matt because he's a baker and I'm trying to lose some LBs. So
Word.
none
That's
of
what I'm
those sweets
saying.
will do good with me.
Child, is somebody who is
If you say
kind
something
of,
about my weight, I will kill you.
No, I was going to
Oh,
say, as
okay.
somebody who is kind of part-time with a baker, you want a baker.
Part-time.
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 All
You
right.
really did say
All
that.
right. Tony, who are you shagging?
I am absolutely going to shag the hell out of Francisco Noriega. I'm all about everything there. The hair.
What specifically?
The hair. The hair is what caught my attention initially. The hairy chest.
Really?
Yeah, and I like Latinos. I like my
He looks
POC
like
man.
all of his ex-boyfriends.
He
like
does.
Every single last one. He looks like
does.
every single
He does.
one.
He does. That's true.
We should
actually.
do that one day. A shag, marry, chop of Tony's exes.
They kind of all look the same. So yes, I'm gonna shag.
Yeah, you better not get my eye contact. You better not, dude. All right, and who are you marrying?
I'm so confused. I am
Right.
gonna marry the topless baker just because, like you just said, I would think that being with a baker is so nice. It can always
comes with
make
so
you
many perks.
Yeah, comfort
Think
food,
about
nice cakes,
chocolate in
brownies.
bed, or
I see. I'm all
you
about
know,
that.
I mean,
Or when a friend has a birthday and you're like, babe, I need a birthday cake. you
Yeah.
know?
And then that
Exactly.
comes out, like that gorgeous thing that he's made there. And then this poor David Templar,
oh yeah.
poor
He's cute,
hairless
though.
guy. He's just
cute.
no, not so
And
much.
John, who are you shagging?
I'm definitely shagging the shirtless chef, David Templar, because he's got a bottle of wine out there. I just feel like we have a lot in common just to start with.
We're both red wine drinkers. We're always
You are?
enticed by red wine.
I'm going to marry.
No, I know who this is going to be. Wait, let me fill in the blank. Let's see if we got it.
All right.
You're marrying Francesco Noriega.
He is.
Absolutely incorrect.
Really?
I am
Did you see the
no, I'm
package?
marrying Matt Adler because I mean, look at the way he spreads that icing around.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I would have cake by the
No,
ocean.
no, but look
Yeah.
at the shot right now.
He
Look at the
knows.
crotch.
He's watched
Yeah.
it.
Well, no, I have to chop Francisco because he's got all
Wow.
because he's cooking with all that hair. I mean, he needs a hairnet or something. That's just unsanitary.
Kyle, you were being so literal. Ugh.
Like,
would be licking the frosting.
I
There we
would
go.
be.
We're
I
finished.
would.
You- and Josie, who are you shagging?
Okay, guys, let's just get it. All right.
Let's just get it.
So let's just get it. I'm shagging Francisco Noriega, the naked chef, okay? Because he looks fun, you know what I mean? He looks like he's equipped.
Now wait,
and-
I want to ask a highly inappropriate question. Now I know you pretty well,
Yeah.
and Francisco is going to watch this and he's going to go. Josie's going to be trying to strap something on, and you're going to be the top. Now, do you want him as the?
I mean, listen, have you ever heard of a verse?
no.
Go on,
I have
sister.
it. Next,
Reach.
no.
Have you slept with a chef before?
We would have fun.
Okay,
wait,
yes,
wait.
that either, Josie.
Have you slept
gonna
with a
Slept
chef?
with a chef before.
I'm gonna need more vodka.
Yes, of course I have.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, what do you guys think we do when the restaurant closes and we're
Yes!
done like wrapping up? Okay, all right.
Wait, is that the official line?
Is that
Want
what's
to
really
F?
happening?
Right.
Well, with some of your friends, you know. Those are those wild days in New York City. Okay, so enough of my personal
Oh my God!
life.
You know I
That's
hate it
coming
when
out
you're
in the
here.
books.
I seriously, I do, and you too.
What?
I hate the stories of New York, and you know why I hate the stories of New York? I'm so damn jealous.
We all are.
New York,
We all are.
the 80s and the 90s was the heyday of LGBTQ life
Oh,
in the
man.
world. Oh my gosh, just the heyday. All right.
It was the heyday of my pansexual life, let me tell you that. Okay. So, Francisco, you
so
and I-
more is better.
Yeah, Francisco and I would be boning, and maybe he would make me a really nice yogurt parfait or smoothie in the morning. That would be awesome. He might be able to be my lover every now and again because he does have a cute little. I like that little soft, hairy chest thing that he
So
has
sexy.
going on. Not too much hair, just like enough
I love
hair.
his eyebrows go up and down.
I see a lot of soft
Very
in there,
sexy.
but-
Yeah, he's got that little thing. He might be
Yeah.
smarty pants.
He's got that thing.
And then I think I'm going to marry, and I know I was going against the grain here, but this is really a toss-up for me, guys, okay? But I'm gonna go with Matt because I'm the savory chef, and I really do always need a good pastry chef in my pocket.
Wait a minute. You're going to change. You're going to cheat on your current pastry guy?
No, I mean we more the
This is
better.
not real
Wait,
now. This is
wait,
not real.
wait.
Remember how you were always
No,
telling
no,
John
no.
this is not real?
He
See,
just said part-time.
We're having a right. We're having
Okay,
a private
in my
conversation, right?
make-believe world, okay, they would probably have more in common than Matt and I. But anyways,
Wait,
what
he
I-
would want to get involved with it, the two of you.
Hey, okay. So Matt would also, he would be my like +1 to all the gay boy parties, and
Yeah.
he'd probably really help me explode on the circuit scene with my lady snack daddy.
Explode's a good way
There's
to
a lot
say
of
it.
things here
There's
going
a lot
on,
of things
okay?
going on. All right.
I'm
Well,
strategic.
yeah, that's very strategic. All right, well, that's our game, Shag, Marry, Chop. I hope you enjoyed it. Before we end the show, we're going to introduce you to our sponsor, Jet's Pizza. Are you coming to South Florida? You got to go and try this pizza. It's the pizza of choice for the LGBTQ community. Carol Merrill here is showing it to you. I'm waiting for the
Who's
day
Carol
that
Merrill? Who's
the child, and I'm waiting for the day that the pizza falls out of the
It's
box.
never
Seriously.
right. Okay, Cindy.
Oh.
You don't
All
get
right.
the joke. The beautiful Miss Cindy Brown was
Yeah.
giving me an impromptu as to how to hold a box of pizza. So I had to listen because I don't want to take my lesbian card away.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, we're getting ready to enjoy some of that pizza. Before we go to Bubbles and Pearls, where we're going to have a very nice birthday party.
Marcy,
Well,
we're coming.
that is it, South Florida. Another week with you and the world's first and most popular LGBTQ talk show in the world. Before we sign off, let's hear from our host for one final good night. And a good night begins from Faye. What?
Say, what? Ay, qué rico estar con ustedes esta noche. Me encanta la felicidad que yo siento de estar en esta mesa con ustedes. Muchas gracias por darme un turno aquí cada semana. Oh, sorry, crap. I'm sorry, SAP. Sorry, turn it back on. Hey guys, I'm so happy to be here each and every Wednesday with this table full of just imaginaries that they're just incredible folks that represent our community. Make sure you're back with us on Monday and Wednesday when on Queer News Tonight. I get to anchor with Mr. Al Ferguson right here. Next Wednesday, we're back here at It's Happening Out. And Faye What Show lovers, we've got some news coming up, so stay tuned, stay tuned. You'll want to find out all the ins and outs about that on one of the next shows.
Absolutely. And good night from Tony Lima.
I was going to start translating everything you said right after you said it. But I'm
How could
always
you do that? Because I understand
Oh,
you only speak Spanglish.
No, I speak pretty good Spanish. Yes.
Good Spanish.
I speak good
Good
Spanish. I just want to say, have a wonderful night. Continue to watch our shows. As you saw the magic that happened here tonight with our conversation, the depth of that we share with you comes from our hearts. And that's with every one of our shows, with It's Happening Out, with Queer News Tonight, translation, pretty soon, The Faye What Show, and Kitty Meow's amazing show as well. Continue to watch our programming. It's important. Share it with everyone that you know, your friends and your family, and we'll see you here every night and on Wednesday night for It's Happening Out again.
And very nice. And good night from John.
Good night, everyone. Have a great weekend. And if you get a chance to spend some time with your family, it's important. You don't know how long you're going to have them, and just enjoy and laugh and smile and have fun with them, even the annoying aunts and uncles.
And John Hayden is following his own advice by getting on a plane and going to Las Vegas with his father
To
tomorrow.
get high. Enjoy getting high with your dad.
Yeah,
Ay, Dios
that's-
mío.
I'll report back on that next Wednesday.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that extensively. And good night from Chef Josie.
Good night, people. Listen, this is your opportunity. We're going into the end of the year to start bringing all of those things that you say you've been working on all year to like fruition, okay? Instead of waiting until New Year's, it's time to like kick it in high gear and figure out what's been missing and just add it. Right now is the time. Like if tomorrow your life was over, what would you do today to have it happen? Let's get it, guys, okay? And while you're doing it, do me a favor and be kind, okay? Choose kindness only every single moment of every single day. Say hello to your neighbor. Say hi to a stranger. Go and like call your mom or your dad, and if they're not here, call your chosen family. Like go and just like give some love in the world, because really what's happening right now is that we're losing, we're disconnecting from each other again. And let's not let that happen again. Let's not let that, let's build on like realizing what we all understood in this past year is that we're human, okay? And let's build on being human.
Beautifully
See you next
said.
week.
Beautifully said. All right. Well, I always ask you at the end of the show, is what you watched important to you tonight? You sat right here in the LGBTQ kitchen table right along with us. We're just sitting gabbing around this table. Literally, that's what we're doing. We are here every Wednesday at 9 p.m. live. Don't forget, Queer News Tonight is daily at 8 p.m. and Hotspots Magazine and We Meg Events brings the best of entertainment and events to our community. Remember, if it's important to you, it's happening out. Good night, South Florida.
Bye.